Hi, this is Scott Erickson with DTG, and welcome to our Epson comparison video between the 700 series, 890 series, and 900 series printers. DTG is a digital color systems integrator, and we specialize in providing solutions to our customers from input, digital camera and scanner, color management from X-Rite and Barbieri, and then output solutions from Epson, Canon, and HP. Not only do we sell these solutions to our customers, but we also offer free pre-sale consultation, free customer support, as well as free custom-built ICC profiles. So please feel free to call us. We do all of this at great competitive prices. So why are we doing this video? It seems like every day at DTG we take several calls from customers asking which large format printer they should purchase. The 700 series, 890 series, or the 900 series. So we're doing this video to educate our customers on how they compare with each other. Both are in terms of print quality, in terms of feature set, and in terms of speed. And speaking of speed, by now you're seeing the three printers print in the video frame. What we've got is the Epson 7700, the Epson 7900, and the Epson 9890. Now the 9890 is the exact same speed as the 7890, so it is a suitable printer to compare with these other printers. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on. First, I'm going to talk about what printers from Epson we're not discussing in the video. The Epson GS6000, their solvent-based printer for indoor and outdoor applications, completely different class of printer. The WT7900, which is their package mock-up printer because it's got white ink and can print to silver metallic film and clear film. And also the 7900 CTP, which is their plate setter printer. Completely different printers, really out of this class. We don't have the 11880 here, which is actually similar in class or print quality and features as what we're talking about today, but that's their 64-inch printer. I will reference that because it does compare to a couple of the printers in this video. So where applicable, I will talk about the 11880 as well. All right, so the six printers we're comparing in the video is the Epson 7700, 9700, the 7890, 9890, and the 7900, 9900. Now, naming convention can be confusing with the numbers. If it begins with the number 7, it's a 24-inch printer. If it begins with the number 9, it's a 44-inch printer. And then the last three numbers in the model name basically reference the feature set, or what I would call the class. So the 700 series, 7700, 9700, are identical printers except size, 24 and 44. 7890, 9890, identical printers except size. 9900, 7900, and so on. You get it. All right, so let's talk about how they're similar with each other first. So these printers all feature really a very similar chassis look and feel. They all feature a 1-year on-site warranty. So if anything goes wrong, Epson sends out a technician to your place of business and does the repair. Everything is covered, parts and labor. You can purchase a 1-year extension or a 2-year extension warranty on all the printers. They all feature basically a spindleless paper load, so there's no stick or spindle to have to load roll paper. They've got these pretty convenient end caps that just allow you to put it on the end of the roll and place the roll into the printer directly. They all feature a rotary cutter. They can cut through canvas, fine art paper, heavy photo paper with the built-in rotary cutter. And they all feature a really nice, slick electronic feel for automatic paper media calculation, myepsonprinter.com for job costing, etc. All right, so let's talk about the differences now. The Epson, first we're going to talk about the 700 series. So the 7700 and 9700. These printers are basically marketed towards the engineers, CAD, architectural, mapping, short-term signage, POP, those kinds of markets, corporate graphics. They're good quality printers in terms of output. They feature a 4+1 ink set. And when you hear me say +1 in this video, the +1 basically is an additional black to choose between photo black and matte black. Photo black being ideal for photo papers, matte black being ideal for matte and fine art papers. So This features a 4+1 photo or matte black ink set. It prints up to 1440 DPI and is extremely fast. So these printers were engineered for very, very fast output. They offer good quality, but we have customers in photo and fine art asking if they should be considering this printer. And in our opinion, absolutely not. These printers, while they do offer good output, they can print the photo papers, canvases, fine art papers, they are not going to yield the kind of quality that you would expect from a photographic printer. They're not as continuous tone. They don't have as wide a color gamut. So definitely not the ideal printer for photo and fine art output. Offer great output in its class. I mean, these are pretty much the best engineering CAD and POP type printers we've ever seen in terms of output. They're fast, but definitely not photo and fine art. That brings us to the next class of printers, the Epson 7890 and 9890. Now, these printers basically feature an 8+1 ink set. They print up to 2880 DPI and offer extremely high quality prints and output. They are geared towards photo and fine art, offer true archival, indoor archival lives. You know, basically prints will last beyond our lifetimes. Pretty much have been, the print quality out of these printers has been the standard for photo and fine art for quite some time. Now, I've referenced the 11880. The 11880 is very, very similar in terms of ink colors. It really is the same. So the overall color gamut out of the 11880, the 64-inch printer, is really going to be identical to the 890 series printers. Obviously, it's a different chassis and it's 64 inches wide. But the overall speed and quality is really similar to the 890. So that brings us to the last class, the 900 series. The Epson 7900 and 9900s offer simply the best output we've ever seen from a large format inkjet printer. They feature a 10+1 ink set and print up to 2880 DPI. The machines are basically identical to the 7890 and 9890, except they add those two colors, which is orange and green. The addition of those orange and green inks expand the overall color gamut of the 900 series anywhere between 10 and 20%, depending on the media type that you're printing on. So we're going to actually cover color gamuts between the three class of printers a little bit later on in this video, to where you'll be able to see actually what kind of gamut improvement you see from class to class to class. So the 900 series, basically indoor archival, offer the absolute finest prints on the market, and you're just not going to get any better in terms of print quality. So let's talk about the costs of the printers. What are you paying for each class of printers? In the 7700 and 9700, the 7700 MSRP is $29.95. The 9700 is $49.95. The 7890, same prices. 9890, same prices. $29.95 for the 7890 and $49.95 for the 9890. And then finally, we've got the 900 series. So what do you pay extra for those two colors and basically the best print? The 7900 is $39.95 and the 9900 is $59.95. All right, so those are manufacturer suggested retail prices. You can absolutely give us a call and we can help you out there. The other things to consider when you're looking at these printers, you'll see some quote-unquote bundled editions where they have like a different name. Example, 9890 Designer Edition or 9900 Proofing Editions. These printers are exactly the same printers. They're just actually bundled with additional pieces of software called RIPs. These RIPs add functionality to the printer, like PostScript, proofing, layout, nesting, things like that. So don't think the Designer Edition or the Proofing Editions of these printers are different printers. The exact same printer, they just feature a bundled piece of software, and hence the price is a little bit higher on that as well. If you have any questions at all, please give us a call and we can help clear up some questions on whether or not you need a bundle edition or it makes sense to go with a third-party edition. Alright, so as you can see, the three printers have finished printing their prints. Those prints, again, were basically identical settings. So it was on Epson Enhanced Matte Paper at 720 dpi output. The print was 2 feet by 3 feet exactly, or actually 6 square feet exactly. It was slightly under 2 feet, a little bit over 3 feet. This is the output from the three printers on the enhanced matte paper. In terms of overall print quality, they look really good. The 700 series, because it prints so fast, basically you can see very, very, very slight what we would say is horizontal banding, because what it does is it lays down such a wide swath and a fewer number of passes, it can slightly show banding, especially in the blacks. The 7890 or 9890 printer you saw in the video and the 7900 are really pretty much identical in terms of overall qualities and continuous tone or dot. But where you can actually see a tiny bit difference is in the tones that are in the guitar. All right, so you can see a little bit more saturation and a little bit more tonality in the guitar area on the 900. Now, obviously, we don't expect you to be able to pick this up in the video. That's why we want to just kind of verbalize and go over the prints. Later, we're going to actually specify the actual print speeds of the printers, as well as the ink used of each printer in several different modes. So underneath these matte prints, I'm going to go ahead and just let these fall down towards the front. We've also done photo prints, both at 1440 dpi and 720 dpi. So we'll talk about how much ink was used in each mode, as well as the print speeds for each mode. So we picked this print or this image because it's going to be really almost a worst case scenario in terms of overall ink used. It's a very, very dark, very, very heavy covered print. So it uses a lot of ink, so you guys will get a good idea on how much it's going to cost you to do these prints. One of the differences we did want to show, just as far as how much ink is used, looking at this print versus this print, there's about a 30% difference in ink used. This uses about 30% less ink than this particular print at the exact same resolution, and obviously you can see that the photographs within the image are a lot lighter. Now we're still using a lot of black ink, which is actually all the colors, so a lot of ink's going down there. So this, what I would say, is more of an average ink used, whereas this is a heavy ink used on these particular prints. So let's take a look at the overall color gamut comparison of these printers. And we're going to take a look at is Epson Premium Luster and the color gamuts of each of the printers. So here we are in a program that allows us to view the color gamuts of the individual printers, as well as individual papers on those printers if we wanted to do that. We wanted to illustrate the color gamut differences between the three printers and how that can impact your decision on which printer to buy. So what we've done, we've opened up a program called X-Rite Gamut Works, and this allows us to look at those color gamuts. First, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to look at the 7700 and 9700 color gamuts. Now let me explain these two windows. This left side here in the black is a three-dimensional view of the profile, and over here on the right, the square is a two-dimensional look, not illustrating the lightness and darkness scale. So basically this square and this circle are theoretically the human vision color gamut. So let's go ahead and turn on the 7700 9700 gamut. So here you can see the two-dimensional at the midpoint, which is L50, meaning the mid-tone. Again, you can see a three-dimensional view of that, all right, by looking here and spinning that around. Now as I move this slider up, we're looking at more of the highlight or the brighter colors or pastel colors. And as I move it down, we're looking at the darker shades, the 3/4 tones, the shadows, and your black point. So I'm just going to take this back to 50, and looking at this, we can see just a arbitrary number, all right, or an arbitrary color gamut. And up here you can see that the volume, the overall color gamut volume, is 1.4 million, or 1.409 million in overall gamut. That's not colors, that's just a relative number, but just kind of keep that in mind. Next we'll go ahead and turn on the 7890, 9890 color gamut. And this is basically the green outline. So you can see from the 7700 to the 7890, 9700 to the 9890, we increased in gamut. All right. Interesting thing is that basically these printers have the same primary color, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, but the 890 series adds basically the lighter colors, the lighter tones, as well as additional grayscales. So it improves overall color gamut even though it uses the same primary colors. And again, we can see the 3 dimensions and take a look at, all right, the 3 dimensions here. All right, so finally what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take the 9900 printer, and we'll take a look at its gamut. Now its gamut is this black outline, and you can see as I move that around, basically it encompasses almost the entire range plus plenty more. So the black outline is the 9900, 7900 with the orange and green inks, and much to nobody's surprise here, look at the green spectrum and the orange spectrum and the reds. That's what that orange and green does for you. So as you move throughout the tonal range, you can see that the overall gamut is significantly bigger on this printer, on the 9900 and 7900 printers. And if you take a look at that number, it's 1.75 million on the 9900, 1.5 million on the 9880 or 9890, excuse me, and 1.409 on the 7700, 9700. So anywhere, and this is on, by the way, Epson's premium luster photo paper. These are profiles that we've built. We've built them with X-Rite spectrophotometers and X-Rite DTP70 along with Monaco Profiler Platinum. Very high-end software to create profiles. So everything was done here internally. It's apples to apples. There's no literally printed on the same day. So this is a very, very reliable, straightforward comparison of the overall color gamut on the exact same paper type. Now, thinking about the overall gamut, as we mentioned earlier, the 9890 and 7890 do a beautiful print with a lot of color gamut. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller. Again, it's the green outline than the 9900 and 7900, which is the black outline. So we wanted to take it a step further and actually show you how that could impact your actual prints or your files when they're printed. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a image, and I've already got them loaded in here, they're just not visible, but the first image I'm going to show you is of this woman in the bride's dress with some flowers, got some little bit of color in here, but skin tones, a lot of neutrals, a lot of skin tones. This particular image basically is typical portrait photography, wedding photography. So let's take an actual look at its gamut. All right, and that's these little dots basically on the screen. That's showing you, the colors that are within that file. And you can see, for the most part, and as we get lower, the human vision system tends not to be able to see these colors anyway. But and as we get at the extreme heights, they tend. But all of these, or that particular image's colors, fit within pretty much all of the 3 printers, with the exception at the extreme end of the lights and the darks. So, printing that type of image or that type of photography really isn't going to impact or have a huge impact if you go with the 9890 without the orange and the green. However, let's take a look at another image. This particular image, this was actually captured with a Hasselblad medium format camera in a profiled space, and then imported into Kodak's Pro Photo RGB color space. So let's take a look at its overall color gamut. So I'm just going to highlight it here and then check this box. And as you can see, it's got a lot more color. So you can really benefit from the actual added orange and green, as you can see out here, from the 9900 and 7900. So if you're doing really extreme color printing with fine art reproductions with a lot of deep saturated colors, that extra gamut that the 9900, 7900 gives you can really benefit what you're doing. So finally, just wanted to show you over here an actual gamut warning, and you guys can do this at home in Adobe Photoshop with the soft proof and the gamut warning. But just to kind of take a look, we'll take a look at this image, click on gamut warning, and then this particular profile we're looking at is the 7700, 9700. Anything in white is basically out of gamut, and it's giving us a clipping warning. Now that doesn't mean it's not going to print anything at all. It's just going to compress those colors and print a color that's as close as possible to it, but within its own gamut. But all of this white stuff falls outside of the color gamut of the 700 series. If I click on the 890 series printers, you can see some of the white goes away. So a significant amount. Again, we'll go up to the 700 series. You can see that white come back. And then on the 890 series, the white disappears out here in the teals and the cyans and things like that. Next, we'll take it down to the 900 series. And you can see that basically almost everything disappears except for the extremely saturated reds and some of these pastel oranges. So the 900 series gamut with the orange and the green really do benefit certain applications where you've got extreme intense color. This particular image has got quite a bit of deep dark saturated color, so we're showing you an extreme with this particular image. But that's pretty much a illustration of the overall gamuts. And again, this is on premium luster photo paper. You would see with canvas, for example, you'd see these overall gamut volume numbers go down a little bit. However, on certain canvases. However, in relation to each other, they're really going to stay about the same. You're going to see, you know, anywhere from a 10 to 20% increase in overall color gamut with the 900 series in that orange and green. So that's an illustration of the color gamuts. So as you saw from the color gamut comparison, there's a pretty big difference between these series of printers. What we're showing here is basically a slide with features and specs from the test that we did in terms of speed and ink used, as well as some of the other stats. Now, if you'd like a copy of this, just give us a call at 800-681-0024, or just go ahead and email me at erickson@dtgweb.com. We've also got an extended version of this which shows some more features and specs as well. I'm going to skip over some of the ones that we've already gone over, but let's look at the speed tests. The 2 foot by 3 foot 720 DPI matte print on enhanced matte, that was the print that you saw each of the printers print in the video. The 700 series did it in 2 minutes 12 seconds. 890, 5 minutes 54 seconds. 900, 5 minutes 54 seconds. So two observations. You can see the 890 and the 900 are identical in production and print speeds. Second, the 700 series on enhanced matte or bond paper is smoking fast. 2 minutes 12 seconds at 720 DPI. You could print at 360 also and get it a lot faster, but as you can see, well more than twice as fast, almost 3 times as fast as the other printers with the 700 series. Ink used on the 720 matte, basically the 700 series used 7.5 milliliters, the 890 used 10.2 milliliters, and the 900 used 10.3. You can see the 700 series used significantly less ink, about 25% less ink, so lower cost per print. The 890 and the 900 series are really almost identical. In fact, probably if this went out to the 100th of a decimal there, you'd probably see that basically these were within a few hundredths of each other. So just because it has orange and green, the 900 series doesn't mean you use a lot more ink. Really about uses the same amount of ink as the 890. Next test we did was 1440 photo on the luster paper. And remember, this is that really dark print, and a worst case scenario in terms of ink used in reference to the milliliters used. So this print speeds on this particular mode, you got 6 minutes 16 seconds for the 700 series, 9 minutes 41 seconds for the 890, and same speed for the 900. So not as big of a speed advantage on the luster with the 700 series class, but it's definitely faster, significantly faster. So, and the reason you see that more than likely is because, again, remember the 700 series is really targeted at those CAD architecturals doing mapping and things like that. So enhanced matte and bond paper is really where you're going to see your huge speed benefits. The ink used on those, on luster paper, it was 8.5 milliliters for the 700 series class, 9.6 on the 890, and 9.6 on the 900 series. So basically it used less ink than the 720 matte mode did, which is pretty interesting on the photo paper. Basically because matte papers tend to absorb inks over here. Really strange on this one, the 8.5 versus the 7.5 on the 700 series. Finally, we did the same exact print on 720 DPI on the photo luster. The 700 series actually would not allow us to do it on luster paper at 720. It was disabled in the Epson driver, so we see no stats here. On the 890, that 720 DPI print took 6 minutes 18 seconds. On the 900, 6 minutes 20 seconds. Probably pretty much the same. That 2-second difference is probably honestly our error in measurement. But you can see a lot faster than that 1440 DPI mode. So really you can crank out some prints. And the print quality, quite honestly, between 720 and 1440 on luster, most people would not see the difference at a normal viewing distance. So yes, you would see it if you got really close and looked at highlight detail and things like that, but something to consider. And then the ink used. So 720 DPI used 9.3 milliliters on the 890 series, so it did use less ink at 720 than it did at 1440, but not much less ink, just 0.3 of a milliliter. So very similar to the 900 series over here in that spec. We got total gamut volume. We talked about that earlier. Gamut as a percentage of sRGB. These are really, again, relative numbers to the overall total gamut volume. So you can see with the 700 series, we're at 81.5% of sRGB. On the 900 series, we're at 101.3%. And on the 890, we're only at 87.4. So pretty big difference there. And again, don't think, these are, again, very relative numbers, and these color gamuts overlap. They're not perfectly shaped. So, sRGB does have colors that these can't print, and vice versa. So again, because of the odd-shaped color gamuts. But it gives you a good relation as far as the overall total gamut volume. We did the same thing for Adobe RGB as well. And finally, the last spec here on this slide is whether they're SpectraProofer compatible. SpectraProofer is an optional spectrophotometer that can be put on the printer and driven by a third-party piece of software to generate ICC profiles and/or certify and verify proofs. And basically, the 700 series is not compatible with that device because, for the most part, it's not a color critical printer. The 890 and 900, both classes of those printers are compatible with the SpectraProofer. We sell a package called Mirage that will actually drive the SpectraProofer, create ICC profiles automatically for your printer. The the 9900 7900 Proofing Edition drives the SpectraProofer, so it can build ICC profiles. It can do automatic certification and verification as well. So, and then finally down here we've got the target markets, which we already covered. Again, if you would like a copy of this, please give us a call or send me an email, and I'll get you a copy as well as an extended version. So that's our slide on the spec comparisons. So that's our comparison video between the 700, 890, and 900 series printers from Epson. We understand you may have some questions, some additional questions, so please don't hesitate to give DTG a call at 800-681-0024 or visit us online at www.dtgweb.com. Now, we understand that you do have choices in where you purchase printers and supplies. We would ask that you definitely give us a call. We can offer you the most competitive prices in the industry, along with the best support. Also, check out our video online choosing DTG as your partner in digital color, and that will explain some of the benefits of a relationship and partnership with DTG. Thank you.